screen for a second so that we all disappear. Well, actually, I'm recording right now. Let's dim the screen now. This is not working today. All right, so we're dimming the screen and we are going live or recording in 1, 2, and 3.
You're watching SchreckTeck, where tech is Shrecky. This show is sponsored by Synapse 3DI at www.synapse3di.com and by Relate Corporation at www.relate.com.
Good morning, everyone. This is SchreckTeck number 29. Next to me is the inimicable. I think she's moving her studio around right now. That's Gina.
Yeah, there I am. Yeah, I have too much stuff sitting here trying to have so many things around me to be ready, you know, at a squeak away that I had to move things. I was afraid to knock things over. But good morning. I don't know why I felt like this was a 2-week break that we took or something. I thought we were off. I said, it seems like it's been so long since we did a show.
No,
but it was not.
Last week was just a long week for everyone.
It's a long week.
Everybody I've talked to said it was a long week.
Yeah, isn't that weird? And I think, again, because I worked all weekend at a conference, it just makes it seem like it was 2 weeks and 2 weeks long. But
2 weeks long.
But it was fun. And, of course, at the conference, the big topic was Facebook and all the changes. So we thought, you know, everyone has been whining. And I love it when Facebook makes changes just because I love to hear all the whiners. I just think it's so funny. Oh, my gosh, Facebook is changing again. And I always say, if Facebook never changed anything, I think there'd be whining that they're complacent and why aren't they making changes? So...
Well, that's true. You can't win in the software business.
You can't win. And I think it's just, you know, we need something to complain about in our world, and it's either politics or Facebook.
Now, you like the changes.
I love change.
That makes you probably one of the few.
One of the few. Now, I have been playing with the new timeline, which I think is really cool, and I've been reading all the dangers of Facebook having all of our life in one spot, and so we'll talk. I mean, there's two sides, obviously, but some of the other changes, and you said you feel it's too busy now on the homepage.
It seems busier. There's a lot more stuff going on. I also don't like the fact that they reset all your security settings.
Yeah, well,
that's irritating.
Yeah, and I don't think mine didn't all reset, but there's so many new things.
Right.
That you do have to go in and spend time
keep an eye on it. And now they own you.
And now they own you.
Any bit of content you put out there is owned by Facebook, according to them.
Well, and it's interesting because I heard a couple things on that, because they own the platform that your content's sitting on.
Right,
so it'd be like you're posting stuff on somebody's server. Obviously, they own the server.
Right.
If somebody needed their if they needed to search the server, but yet you can at any time download your content.
Sure.
I still have never met anybody who did that, because it downloads in this giant zip file everything you've posted on Facebook, which I thought, why would you do that? I don't know. I guess it would be good to have on a...
That's a lot of content for some people.
Yeah, maybe it's like a good time capsule for your great-great-grandchildren to find someday. I don't know. What would you do with that?
I don't know.
But here's what I find it interesting, and I've been asking the Shrecklet, who's 15, asking all her friends, what do they think about it? Because I first thought, oh, the younger people will love it because they love everything constantly moving and, ADD society. They hate the ticker. For those of you for leave, I guess we should just say for leave, who's not on Facebook. Facebook, one of the major changes that you're seeing is now you have your timeline, and there used to be 2 links. I can read my most recent updates from my friends, Or I can switch over to say, show me the most popular, the top news stories, as Facebook deems most popular, based on number of comments or how much I interact with that particular person. Show me those top stories. Well, they used to be two separate tabs, show me one or the other. Now it's combined into one stream, most popular, top news at the top, and then the other recent at the bottom. But then now, with that, which that alone was a change that most people whined about, now we also have on the right-hand column this ticker tape of posts coming in. So it looks, to me, it looks just like Twitter, but you're just seeing this little window of tweets, you know, of little posts coming through as they're happening. And all the Schrecklet's friends hate it.
Yeah, our two 23-year-olds in the office, or 21 and 23-year-old, both don't like it. In fact, one of them threatened to get off of it.
I was surprised by that. And if anyone's in the chat room, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, and leave, you know, you're right. Still not convinced about Facebook. Starting to like Google Plus, however, which is interesting because these changes that Facebook made are very much like Google Plus.
Right, except Google Plus, I think, architected it better from the beginning and is not so onerous like Facebook. I actually like Google Plus. I don't like Facebook either.
It's interesting. It's and another thing. Now, here's why I think the ticker piece is interesting. Number one, for people with ADD, maybe you're seeing things that might be interesting that you can click and go to. But to me, what I find interesting is it's a lot like watching the news. You know, when you watch the news, they only spend about a minute on any major news story before they go out and show live at the scene, or this live and this film and this. And then all the while you're watching that, they have at the bottom the ticker of news, other stories or things coming up. And there's so much activity.
Now, I hate that on the news. I find that incredibly irritating when you're watching the news to have to read the ticker. My wife, on the other hand, likes it.
And it's interesting because you always have a mix. Some people go, I like the fact that I can see, 3 more stories. Like on our local news, they have kind of coming up. So that's in one little window. Here's what's coming up. Then they have the ticker at the bottom, and then they have the main news screen. So you kind of, depending on your attention span, you can kind of scan even while you're watching the news. And I think the new Facebook kind of reminds me of that, is you can determine, do I want to just see a quick snippet? Am I here just to post content while I'm posting? I see something I want to click on. One change that maybe you haven't noticed, and some people haven't noticed this yet, the birthdays, this is kind of cool. Before, it would just say, these 2 people have a birthday today, and it would show them, and if you clicked on one of them, it would take you to their profile where you can post on their page. But now you can click See All. When it says birthdays, See All. And in one little window, it'll pop up, these 4 people have a birthday, and it has a little box. You can write messages right there without having to go to each person's profile, which, again, we're just getting lazier, but... and I always add a picture. Anytime I post on a birthday, I try to add a photo of some fun birthday photo. So I still go to a page. But I thought that was an interesting tweak to the birthdays. Any other changes that you've seen?
I haven't spent that much time on it. I've been actually spending a lot more time on Google Plus.
Google Plus, yeah.
In fact, there's a pretty good app. I guess we can talk about that later. But for Google Plus, it's not a bad app on the iPad and iPhone. It's actually an iPhone app, but you can run it on the iPad. I imagine it also runs on Android, especially with Google. It has to.
Right.
And it's a pretty good little app. Not too bad for a first-time app.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Which, you know, we'll come back to Facebook timeline, but another huge news story for iPad owners and iPhone users is Facebook is finally, October 4th, rolling out an iPad Facebook app.
Right, a native one.
A native one. And this will be really interesting to see because currently I never go through an app on my iPad to get to Facebook. I use my browser on my iPad and go through the browser because on the apps they currently have, you can't do all of the you can't use all the functions that you need to administer a page or post content the way you want. You can read notifications and messages and see pictures, but you can't use all the functions that you need. So I always have to go through the browser. So I'm really curious to see when they roll this app out.
And they were very timely on it. What did it take, about a year?
I mean, look how long the iPad has been out.
A year, almost 2 years. Not quite, about a year,
Well,
a little over a year and a half.
Are you talking about the iPad 1?
Well, the iPad 1 and then now the 2.
Has it only been a year and a half?
Only a year and a half.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but that's a long time.
It's a long time in computer
consider
land. Yep.
The most popular social network site.
Yep.
And then the most popular tablet, and they never could come to, you know.
Took too long.
Took too long. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like, or if I still have to go through the browser to use Facebook. But so that app coming soon to an app store near you.
And there is a new iPhone 5 coming out, according to rumors, around October 4th.
Right.
Which will be next week. So that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Now, is there any intrigue on your part at all?
From everything I've read, it's going to have everything that people have been waiting for. 4-inch screen, finally, a little bit bigger screen.
A little bit bigger screen.
Thinner. So it's probably going to look more like an iPod Touch in terms of thinness from what I've been reading. That's pretty thin.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's pretty thin.
Yeah.
And what else? 4G support.
I wonder the camera, what changes they're making.
8 megapixel.
Okay. Gosh, isn't that
So that's finally
amazing.
a pretty decent camera for a phone. I imagine it still shoots 720p video, though I haven't checked to see if it went up to 1080p. But faster, they said it's about four to 5 times faster. It's a dual processor now. So they're doing that. I don't know if it's dedicated video yet. I mean, all of these are kind of rumored, and some of them are pretty factual. But what else did they add to it? They're de-restricting it a little bit, so it's not as tight as it was. And there are rumors that Flash may run on it. Finally.
Wow.
They need that.
Now see, I look at that and go, the good news to me, because I'm not an iPhone user, but the good news to me is that hopefully some of that will transfer over to the next iPad.
That'll be good.
Yeah, because the camera on the iPad is so crappy. You have to use a filter like Instagram or some photo filter in order to make your pictures look decent. Because there's no flash, so anytime there's any darkness,
Well, you can't turn on the light.
Well, not if you're outside.
True. Well, you'll get a little bit of fill light, but not by much.
It's super grainy. The pictures come out so grainy, and so to me, the camera is my thing and I use the camera a lot.
That's called the ugly filter. It's on purpose.
It is, and maybe it makes those flaws in your complexion just disappear.
Makes your whole head disappear.
Because it puts so many others on top of it.
Well, my biggest gripe completely with the iPad and the iPhone too is that if you hit the wrong one, well, actually not with the iPad, because I don't really go out with the iPad shooting pictures, but on the iPhone, you're outside. You can't see the screen anyway, because if it's sunny, it's completely invisible. So you go outside, you turn on the camera, and you go, what a beautiful landscape. You take a picture, and it's your face.
Right.
And it's just like, oh God. So it's a little scary, and I don't know if they'll ever be able to fix that one, but no matter how bright you make the screen outside, they do tend to disappear. In fact, I find the iPad outside useless. You just can't read it.
It pretty much is. You have to be under an umbrella or somewhere.
Pretty much, because anytime sun hits it, it's so reflective that it's gone.
That's true. And we have a comment/question in the chat room from Barb. Good morning, Barb. About back to the owning the rights on Facebook. And this came up the last time Facebook had all kinds of changes. Anytime, and this is true, and I know, Barb, you're a Second Life user as well, anytime you're posting content, developing content, creating content, and it's on someone else's server, technically and legally, they own the content on their servers. So because of that, it's not that they're doing anything.
That's not true. That's not true. They don't own the content.
They own the
platform, which means they can remove your content anytime. They don't own, for example, if you put anything proprietary up that is patented, they don't own that, but they
Right.
do own they can erase you at any time is what they can do.
And this is, as a matter of fact, that's the argument that came up, and I can't remember if it was actually, maybe it had to do with something I was reading about Second Life and virtual environments, that you're building this environment and it could go away because, you know, if something happens. And I think what I remember hearing and reading was they put that disclaimer, they put that out there because if something happened, they cannot be held legally responsible for your content disappearing or something happening. But they're not saying that they're going to go out and use your content for anything malicious or, you know, give it away, but they're saying your content is sitting on our servers. If it were gone, if something happened, you knew that. And so that's why Facebook has the option. If you go into your account settings, and I believe it's on the very first page. It may be off the top of my head. I don't think it's in the privacy. I think it's in your main account, right when you go to account settings. The very bottom, it says download my content. You can actually at any time download all the content, and there have been people who say they're going to make a book out of it. I find that kind of interesting.
Is that a Facebook?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, who's going to read it? Onto a file that then you can keep. And you can do that. Maybe you do that every month. You download so that if anything were to happen, you have your content. So I'm pretty sure that is the reasoning behind that. But that does bring up the whole timeline concept. Because to me, this timeline, I'm really liking. Now, I just started playing with it because they're not rolling it out to the public for another couple weeks. They're saying 2 to 4 weeks, but you can go in and kind of, it's not illegal. You're not hacking or breaking jailbreaking, but you are going in and setting up as a developer. So you can go through, and there's like 6 steps. I posted it on my Getting Geeky fan page, the steps. You go in and you have to allow Facebook to see you as a developer. You're not going to develop an app, but you just have to go in and say you're a developer. And then you go through these steps as if you were going to create an app. And then because you are a developer, it enables the timeline to start for you earlier. So I went in and followed these steps, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. Now, if any of you have seen the Google commercial, it's for Google or Gmail, where the dad has a baby and he posts videos and messages to his daughter every day. And throughout her first 5 years, I think, or something, he's posting these little things to a Gmail account in his daughter's name. And it's heartwarming commercial. And it's basically saying the power of Google. I mean, they show him putting a map, the Google map, where her first house that she was born in, and then it showed her at her birthday parties. And well, this is what Facebook is doing. It's the same thing. You can, when you enable your timeline, it changes your profile page. So your home page with all that activity looks the same. It's your profile page that turns into this timeline. So now you have this big picture when you open it, which reminds me of a blog. It's very blog-like. So you see this big header, and it's a photo of your profile picture on your timeline. And then on the side of the picture, there is a timeline of your life. So it knows the year you were born if you put the correct year in when you set up your Facebook account. So it has from 1963, and then the top says now. And then it has different event markers based on content you have posted. So it might have your birth year. Again, because I don't share my year, mine doesn't have my birth year, but it has from the beginning of when I started Facebook. And I wonder if that's different for people who share their year with the public. We'll find out. But it has these different markers and events, and then you can see, again, Facebook's not making up content. They're just pulling from content you have posted. So it's kind of cool. Now, the only downside I see for the iPad is a lot of the videos are converted into a Flash format.
That's right. And then you can't see them.
And then you can't see them on an iPad. So,
but Apple will crush them because it's what they do.
Yes, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I kind of like the visual look of this profile now called the timeline. Now people are freaked out by saying it's all of your life content in one place. But my argument is, no, it's all of the content of your life that you have already shared.
Right.
in one place.
Right.
So now, you know who I think will be hurt by this? People who use their Facebook account for business. Not a page, but their Facebook profile, because all their content's kind of informational, and they won't have, it'll be interesting to see. I think theirs will be more boring. It might hurt them.
It could be. Now, Google Plus has gone public, no longer in beta.
That's right.
And a lot of people are signing up. In fact, quite a few. And from what I've been reading, a lot of people like Google Plus. They find it easier, simpler, as effective as Facebook, if not better. Interesting.
Okay,
what
now,
do you think?
you've been spending more time there?
Yes.
So let me ask you, because this was something when it first opened, everyone said, okay, now I'm going to go in, I'm going to create more strategic circles. When you go to share content, do you share it with only specific circles?
I haven't, but you can. You could share with a single circle, a group of circles, everyone, the public. I tend to just go public. I haven't yet done circles. It's kind of interesting.
It's an interesting concept, and I was very strategic when I set up my Google Plus account. I put like real specific circles of types of groups that I'm involved in, and
things like blonde people.
Well, yeah. Well, then I thought, but that's kind of odd because when the type of information I'm posting, I always click public. Now, maybe if you then use a circle more as a group where you have discussions, but sometimes those discussions get so good that you want to share that with people outside of that group.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, so it's an interesting idea. What Google did is they architected it, I think, a little better than Facebook did, because they've had several years to really look at what Facebook did and say, we can architect it better. And Facebook's now trying to become more like Google Plus, which I find really interesting.
They are. As a matter of fact, the new timeline allows you to more easily share content with specific people. So if you have a photo that you're putting up there and it's of you on the weekend, maybe having a little too much fun, you can actually more easily, I mean, you can already do this, but now more easily you can say, just share this with my friends, not my mom, not my coworkers.
Right. So
if you've created lists on Facebook, which are like circles, you can more easily use your lists to send content. But
I find Google easier to do the group kind of tasks. Now, on a different note, Amazon may be buying Netflix.
What?
That's an interesting one. They're talking about it.
That's interesting.
So that's going to create a pretty big giant there, because Amazon is Netflix's biggest competitor.
Right.
So that would be interesting. I guess Netflix did a couple of faux pas this year, upping the rates dramatically during a recession, splitting the company into two, which didn't work too well. So it's going to be interesting to see what transpires there. But Netflix had it all, and now they're starting to blow it. So
now, are you a Netflix user?
I am.
I've never used Netflix.
You never have?
Never have.
Interesting.
I'm not a big movie person.
Okay.
So now, see, opposite of you, if I'm going to go to a movie, I want the experience of going to a movie theater, which is kind of funny because you say you'd rather stay
I'd
at
rather
home.
stay home, watch it on the big screen, buy a surround sound system. It's well worth it.
So, and again, I would love to see an interactive movie theater, and you'd have to have certain theaters that do this. I would love to have a movie theater where you watch the movie and have a chat screen on the side where you can chat comments about the movie.
Well, I'm at the point, if I go to a movie theater or a restaurant, no kids. Tell the parents, okay, if your kid is under 18, don't even bring them.
Yeah. See, Rick, you're like my husband, so much so, because he always says, no matter what, no matter where I go, whether it's an airplane, movie theater, whatever.
It's karma.
The kid always sits behind me that kicks the seat.
Yep.
And the people that talk the whole movie always sit next to him or in front of him.
He and I would have a great time together. We could actually take out a restaurant. It would be fun.
Yeah, you just go in the man cave and watch the surround sound.
Leslie and I went to Johnny Rockets last week, and I like Johnny Rocket. Nice 50s diner. It's kind of fun. And the family from hell showed up. 3 adults, 3 alien kids who had one volume level, which was screech, jumping on the furniture, running around the restaurant, screaming, crying. And the parents completely used it. I finally started staring at the father. And not a very friendly stare. It was one of those, I'm going to kill you stares. And he started going, kids, can you sit down? Of course, they totally ignore the idiot. And I was just going, I sent nasty notes to Johnny Rockets after that saying, why do you allow that to happen? You got kids running in a restaurant with servers.
Why do you allow children in your restaurant?
I mean, and all it did was make people leave. It's like, I won't be going there anymore. Not to that one.
So that's why you're a Netflix fan.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with a completely undisciplined, loud, stupid public. And it's funny, people tell me you're just getting old. I go, I was that way at 18. So
you started getting old early. That is funny. Now, see, I just figured, people should be polite. Quit being, brutes. And so your husband and I would probably get along well. No matter where I am, the karma's there. We get the screaming. We actually were traveling first class to New York last time, and we get actually to Dallas, and we got a screaming baby, a less than 2-year-old kid. I know, and
the whole in first. And I was going, why the hell do you put a child in first? What is wrong with you? That's business.
Yeah.
Or people who actually, we got an upgrade, but for the people who can afford it, put the kid in cargo. Don't put him in first.
Rick, we're going to get hate mail. Make sure you send that to Rick at
Yes, that's right. I will gladly accept your hate mail. I don't care.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So that is big news, though. The whole Amazon, Netflix.
That's going to be interesting if it does happen, because that will create a lot of opportunities for Blockbuster to really go under. But that's another issue.
Yeah, that is interesting. So it'll be interesting to see if their prices then go back down.
That's true, because the prices did go up for quite a bit. A lot of people left Netflix after that.
So to get them back, for those of you who are Netflix user, if you would have left because of the price, what would it take to get you back?
Yeah, because if you're paying $7 a month, like a lot of younger people were paying, and all of a sudden it's now up to almost $20, that's a lot of money for them.
Yeah,
and they're saying,
you might as well call your cable company and subscribe to movie channels.
That's true.
Yeah. That is interesting. A lot of Netflix users. Yeah, Barb, you're right. They really blew it with their latest move. So it'll be. I've never used Netflix, and I love the concept. I bought Kirk was it the Roku box or was it
the Roku's great?
No, I bought him the Sling box.
Oh, Sling box. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can watch it anywhere.
And you know what? He took it back.
He didn't like it?
We never used it because part of it was we have an app on our iPad for Xfinity for Comcast.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually watch certain things while you're away, and you can set your DVRs and things from your iPad.
Right.
And again, because we don't watch a lot of. I think we're just never home enough to sit and watch a movie or watch things. It didn't make sense to do it. So he ended up taking it back, but. Yeah, Roku I've heard is great.
Roku is good. It's a nice little box.
Yeah.
Now I have an Apple TV too. I've had 2 Apple TVs, the original and now the new one, which looks more like a smaller version of a Roku box, and it's really good. A lot of people don't like it, but I like it the best for podcasting. It's a really good way to subscribe to podcasts, and then you just play the list, write down everything that you're subscribed to on either daily or whenever you want to look at them. It's convenient.
And then just sit and watch it on a bigger screen.
Yeah, it works really well. Mm-hmm.
I like that. Now, have you added Spotify? Have you tried Spotify?
I haven't yet because, again, I'm semi-antisocial, so I have no interest in having people know what I'm listening to.
Okay, so that is interesting because I added Spotify to my Facebook page, and Spotify is a music sharing. And really, it ties into your iTunes library. If you have that set up, you can say, I want to share this playlist on Spotify and let people know I'm listening to this song right now. Well, I kind of was the same way, like, who really cares? But I started thinking, I wonder if you can add Spotify to your Facebook page, your business page, to then have a collection of fun songs that kind of is a theme of your business. So I thought, I'm going to do a playlist of geeky tunes, and I'm going to add it to my Getting Geeky page on Facebook. So sure enough, you can add Spotify as an app to your business page. And I then put this collection of songs into the Spotify.
Okay, now what is a geeky song? Is this something like da-da-da-da?
Well, like Mr. Roboto.
Arigato,
yes, Mr. I have that one. Yes. I have Technologic.
Okay, so you like all the tech songs.
That, and then just some fun, like These Boots Are Made for Walking. Yep. That's not geeky, but
you
yeah.
keep Nancy's memory alive.
Nancy's memory, yeah. And then I think I have the Jessica Simpson new version too. But so
She
I
did
just put a
another one?
collection of my theme songs, and then I put that in Getting Geeky, but it's not. It doesn't work. So I'm not sure yet. So I'm like, what? It works on your profile, but not on your business page yet.
Remember,
So I'm not
Facebook
sure.
owns your content, so it's gone.
Yeah, they now know. The world now knows my favorite songs. So I thought that was another interesting addition, is being able to share music, which again, I asked Schrecklet, have you guys been seeing this? She said she hasn't seen anybody use it, any of her circle of friends, and they live on Facebook.
Interesting.
So again, I think it's one of these adult new adapter, oh, let's try Spotify on here, but I think it'll take a while to see people start.
The idea is
getting
interesting, and I think it works best if you're with a group of friends and you want to share the kind of music that you like,
Right.
or any kind of, like you said, playlist that you have. That's where it works the best. I don't know how much adults will get into it. Maybe not.
Yeah. Again, I think as all of these, and with any technology, you kind of start playing with them. Then you see how it works. Like you go, oh, this makes sense. How to integrate it into your particular world. You'll find a way to. I really like. There's a website. Oh gosh, now I had it and now it just left me. The name of it, where you can log on and you enter these like a DJ, and you rotate who's DJing at the moment, and you play different mixes of music, and then the next person who's online can take over as DJ. So
Interesting.
it's kind of this collaborative, fun hangout. But then I'm thinking, really, you're hanging out in your probably your basement of your mom's house, doing this DJing thing. I'm not sure, who's really doing it, but I thought it was a really cool concept. So,
Well, Gina, we got about 5 more minutes. What other
Okay,
things do you
apps,
have? You got
apps.
stuff.
okay, I have not a fun app. It's actually a business app, but it was fun because of its name. I've been looking for some business apps that can help. I just look at manage your business. So a sales customer management system. So I was looking for a good CRM tool, and I found one, and it's interesting because, well, first I found one that was tied in with Salesforce. Salesforce.com has an app, and it looked pretty good, but it was so basic unless you paid for the Salesforce monthly service.
Right.
So I deleted that app, and then I found this other one called Sales Beaver. And Sales Beaver, there's Sales Beaver Lite, and I guess their whole thing is if you're busy as a beaver, but it's a great, I love it. Sales Beaver Lite is free, and you can go in and you put all your customer contact, because on the iPad, the contact, your little contact apps and all your information for contacts, it's not a sales tool. So this one, you can put in all their contact information. You can put in notes from your appointments. You can schedule a follow-up with that particular client. So it's a great management system that's really light. Or you can pay $40 for the Sales Beaver expandable version, and then you can customize it. You can invoice. You can do price quotes, all through this app. And so really cool business tool for being out in the field, working with customers and being able, if you don't already have a CRM that you're using, this might be a really good one to check out.
And if you order it today, you get a dam.
Yeah, and then you build a dam with your apps. Yeah, I've looked at a ton of them, and I've been downloading them and playing with them, and then I end up deleting them. And this one I've kept for now 2 weeks, and have actually entered. I made that commitment. I've entered in a bunch of client information because I want to start seeing, does it remind me regularly, what type of things can I set reminders for? And yeah, I like it.
Now, the app I like is one I got actually from Sarah Lane and Leo Laporte last week on iPad Today.
Oh, what was it?
And it is Agenda. It is a calendar replacement for your iPad, because if you use an iPad, the calendar is probably one of the worst designed, hard to read piece of,
you're right.
It's a piece of junk.
I don't use that. I
really,
have iCalendar, or not iCalendar. I use Google Calendar.
Right, which is okay. Now, Agenda will work with Google Calendar as well as your Exchange. And it is a really nice, actually, let me see if I can bring it up. I'll show it to you. It's a very clean interface.
That's good to know, because I do want one that integrates.
I don't know if you can see this here. Actually, let me go full screen so you could see the calendar.
I had one called Weekly, and it was close, but it didn't
Now,
integrate.
can you see that okay?
Let's see.
You notice you can see the big numbers. It's easy to read. It actually shows you by day, by week,
Oh, yeah.
by month. It immediately integrates with your Outlook and with your Google Calendar. And when I saw that, I've been looking for a good calendar because I really
too.
hate the one on the iPad. It's just a piece of junk.
It is. And well,
And-
it's useless unless you're double entry. You're entering
right.
in your Google Calendar, and then you're coming over and have to enter it here. Okay, that's great. So it's just called Agenda.
Agenda.
Love it.
Agenda calendar. It's really good.
I like that.
So thank you, Sarah and Leo. We're on your heels, so keep an eye out for us.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm so far behind. I haven't watched their shows in so long. I just haven't had time. I need to download them all on my iPad so I can do this in the car. Listen on the go. Yeah, exactly. Now, for those of you who are Facebook users on your business page, next week we have a woman, her company is called Social Heavy. She really focuses on creating your Facebook welcome pages with welcome videos, helping you use short videos in social media to pop. And they've created a couple really cool things that that she does in videos in the intro that really makes them stand out. And we're going to talk about how to tag your videos to get found on YouTube. And so some really cool and helpful YouTube video stuff. So
That sounds good.
Yeah, Tammy Hawk is going to be with us next week, and I'm excited because she actually helped me kind of do the whole Getting Geeky logo and come up with all that. And I told her I want her to draw a picture, Rick, of you and I for our Facebook page to have a fun logo.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I like you Getting Geeky one. So she's a pretty good artist.
kind of fun. You know, her son is the artist.
Oh,
her
okay.
son, who works with her, I think he's 20 or 21. He's a really talented artist, but he's a video buff and does all this coding and tagging and all this stuff on a YouTube video so that it can come up #1 in a search.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they some tips they have for
Now,
us.
for all of you who are wondering why Gina and I are alone today, it's because we had a guest who did not confirm.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
just
hopefully
kept
they will
putting
be
it
on
off.
again.
Couldn't confirm the date, so yeah, we'll try and
We'll get them
snag
back
it down
on.
and
Yep.
get more on that. But yeah, and Barbara just wrote in the chat room that she's going to be Googling Facebook owns your content all day and looking it up. So Barbara, if you find out anything that's really different than what we've said, definitely let us know. We'll share that.
Now, if they would only take your noisy kids in restaurants, that would be great.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm going to find an earplug app for you or a blinders app.
Oh, believe
Maybe
me, I've got my noise canceling headsets that I use on airplanes. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
The creature was just behind me. It wasn't good enough.
That is so funny. And and maybe by next week there'll be more Facebook changes. Who knows?
Maybe. Or Google Plus will dominate. But now
for
Google
those of
Plus
you
is
who
not
get-
really for business yet.
I need to actually find someone that's it's hard to be an expert on Google Plus already, but
Right.
someone who can really, because what I do know about Google Plus is if you haven't yet got on there, it's really important to set up your Google profile real robust.
Right.
If you are in business, Google Plus is the place to have your profile filled out the best because it'll help your blog. It's great SEO for all of your social and your business
Now,
needs. So-
I'm not sure yet how it works with business.
you need to make sure your profile has links to your business site, that you're using keywords in your
Okay.
posts.
Right.
So it's that type of,
Okay.
you can come up higher in search if your
Because
Google
they don't
profile,
yet have a Google Business or Google Plus for business
that's coming.
coming, you think?
That is coming. That's a big thing that they're talking about, I think, in the next few weeks. So
Now, do you think it's
that'll
possible
be-
that some people are just going to leave Facebook and go to Google Plus at that point?
I wonder, and I still wonder about that because there's a couple weeks ago, Facebook hit over 800 million users.
Right. But of those, how many are active? That's another.
Yeah, but still, you look at it and go,
That's a lot of people.
trying to market to consumers or to people, that's a lot of people. 800 million, and I still see Google Plus as more of the technical person's hangout. So I don't
Interesting.
see.
Yeah,
We'll
it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Because
It'll be fun.
everybody that I follow on Facebook or subscribe to and is now on Google Plus, and
On
we're all
Google
following
Plus.
each other everywhere. So it's sort of funny.
But you're also in the tech circles.
True. True.
You know, that's why I say I think the more tech-minded, those of us who are in the social media realm or technology realm, we immediately set up accounts on Google Plus. But you don't see mom and grandma,
Right.
And the consumer who's all over Facebook shopping and spending money,
Right.
going over to Google Plus. So it'll be interesting to see, will it end up this divide of the techies and the non-techies, or will there be one clear?
Of course, the techies will take over the world. Never mess with a system administrator.
I just want Hootsuite or these third-party apps. I want them to integrate Google Plus so that you can post easily to both.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I just want it all. I just want it all. Is that so much to ask? Yeah!
Sorry. That's the problem with these soundbite things.
Oh, that's funny.
Big thumb.
But so much to talk about in so little
I know,
time.
and
But
we've
Rick,
already done
this was fun.
46 minutes.
Holy smokes.
So much for a short show, right?
I know. We keep thinking we're going to be able to cut it to 30 minutes. I'm sorry, everyone. Those blondes have it all. Barb, I love ya.
Well, anyway, everybody out there, have a great week. And if you're in the chat room, thanks for being here live. We are actually live with you. We're not a pre-recorded show. This could not be pre-recorded.
Unless you're watching this recording.
That's right.
Pre-recorded.
In which case, we're live.
We're still alive. We're just not here.
Anyway, thanks, everybody. We will see
Bye,
you
have a
next
great
week.
week.
Bye, Gina.
Bye.